Now, this is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. The funny thing about the story that Matthew relates is that it's really not about how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. It's about how Joseph became Jesus' legal father, and about where Jesus fits into salvation history. So I looked at the Greek there. Literally, the Greek says, "Now of Jesus Christ the birth thus was." So your guess is as good as mine how to translate that, I guess. I did call a theologian I know who teaches Greek, and he said, a good way to translate that really is, these are the circumstances of Jesus' birth. So, again, literally, this time from the Latin, circumstances, things that are standing around. These are the events around this event of Jesus' birth. And there are a lot of circumstances, The story we just heard, the angel appearing to Joseph, Joseph trying to decide what to do about finding his wife is pregnant, about Mary finding out and how she finds out, the whole Herod story, the Magi, the shepherds. There are a lot of events around Jesus' birth. And sometimes, and the circumstances are important. The circumstances of events are important. Sometimes they can actually be more important than the main event. For instance, we say this all the time. Timing is everything. Whether it might be an investment or buying a house or whatever, And in other words, if you invest at the right time, you'll do well. If you invest at the wrong time, maybe not. So in that case, the circumstances are actually more important than the event. Or we say this, we wish you have a good Christmas. Or afterwards we say, did you have a good Christmas? If you really think about that statement or question, there's an element of, we understand what we mean, but literally it doesn't make sense. Christmas, no matter what circumstances, was a good thing, objectively speaking. And a lot of the circumstances around Jesus' birth were difficult or adverse or problematic, But objectively speaking, Jesus' birth was a good thing. And if you think about it again, objectively speaking, the celebration of Jesus' birth has to be a good thing. Objectively speaking. When we talk about circumstances, we're talking about subjective, right? So what would make a good Christmas, quote unquote, or a bad Christmas, quote unquote, would be the circumstances, right? Not the event itself. And I've been pondering a lot of things this year in light of the book we've been reading, the small faith groups have been reading, He Leadeth Me by Father Chiswick. And his circumstances, the book is really, you might boil the book down to this. How does someone in bad circumstances find good, find God? And he shows that it's possible. Here he is arrested, charged as a spy, thrown in solitary confinement for 4 years or so in one of the most notorious prisons in the world's history, Lubyanka. Spends another, I forget how long, 14, 15 years in Siberian work camps, hungry, not enough clothing, always worried about worse punishment. And yet, this book is about him coming to a deeper relationship with God and seeing that God is leading him throughout all of this. God is with him. Or Cardinal Tuan Van Nguyen, the Vietnamese cardinal who spends, I think, 9 years in solitary confinement and torture in Vietnam. And he sends these little notes out. He smuggles them out with people. He starts writing these little things. And they compile it. When he gets free, he published this book. The book is all about hope and joy. So we approach Christmas in a lot of different circumstances. Some can be good circumstances. We found a new job. We got a raise. There's a new birth, new baby in the family. We did well on our exams. Everybody's going to be home for Christmas. The whole family's going to be together. And we can come in bad circumstances. We have recently received a bad diagnosis of something, some illness. Someone in the family is seriously ill. Taking care of a parent or a child that's ill. We lost our job. We did badly on our exams. Our marriages, we're having troubles in our marriage, or we just got a divorce, or on and on. We're grieving. Family members died. So we come to this event, to the celebration of Jesus' birth, in many different ways. And it's easy for both good and bad circumstances, quote unquote, to distract us or to influence whether we have a quote unquote good Christmas or not. And sometimes the good circumstances, the good things going on, can distract us even more than the bad. Because as you know, sometimes when life's going very well, we have this funny tendency of forgetting about God. But our difficult circumstances, as you know, can certainly influence our celebration of Christmas. If we're lonely, if we're missing somebody, or whatever else is going on, can distract us. But the truth is, the event itself, and this is what we have to tell ourselves, and sometimes, make ourselves understand this, that whatever is going on, especially whatever bad is going on, but the good too, is passing. But our salvation lasts forever if we allow it. Jesus' saving act lasts forever. It's eternal. God's love for us is eternal. God's leading of us is eternal. And so I just encourage you not to let your circumstances, good or bad, distract you from celebrating the birth of our Savior. Come to the stable rejoicing, or come to the stable sorrowing, but come to the stable. And bring whatever it is you have with you to offer him. If you're angry, sad, mourning, rejoicing, satisfied, whatever, bring it. If that's all you have to give God is your loneliness or your anger or whatever, your worries, then bring that. Jesus came to save us, right, from our sin, came to give us hope and joy and peace in the midst of our life now, not just one day. Think about what we just sang. We didn't sing the first verse today, but since you know that verse the best, O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel. Right? We can often be imprisoned by something, especially our sin, but Israel who mourns in lonely exile. These are dark words, right? Loneliness, mourning, exile. And on. To us, the paths of knowledge show in a different verse, we are ignorant. We need to be taught. Jesus came because we were lonely, lost, sorrowful, sick, afraid, anxious, etc., etc. And to bring us something for each of those situations. So come to the stable. Let nothing get in the way of worshiping God and thanking Him for this event, the birth of our Savior. And know that whatever it is we're experiencing now is passing, but what is eternal is God's love for us. Born, as the Christmas carol says, 'tis love that's born this night. And maybe bring someone with you and tell them about what God did for them. Tell them who this Jesus is, who was born for them.